What's up, folks? Max here, and last week we got some pretty awesome news that POKKEN was indeed real, a cross-hybrid of a Tekken game with Pokemon characters. Now, the mixture between the two and some other news pieces and information has actually popped up recently, talking about what characters are going to be like, how gameplay mechanics are going to be handled, and other pretty interesting stuff that's worth talking about. The other crazy thing is that the overall kind of reaction to something like POKKEN has been pretty good, and the other interesting tidbit that I've kind of noticed is the Wii U really didn't have a lot of third-party games, but now they have these weird kind of like cross-hybrid type of Nintendo/third-party games with like Hyrule Warriors and Sega's Bayonetta having this weird like version of their characters with different Nintendo characters, and now they have a Tekken game with Pokemon characters, so I'm totally down for more stuff like this, and I think that this is a great idea to get people to invest in a Nintendo console, mostly because you're kind of combining third-party games like Tekken, Dynasty Warriors, Bayonetta, and putting Nintendo characters in the franchise to kind of bring new people in, because this is awesome. This is kind of some of the coolest stuff that I've seen come from Nintendo recently, so let's talk about all this new POKKEN info. One of the big details being discussed with the developers, and there was something hinting at it towards the very end of the POKKEN trailer, is in regards to Mega Evolution, and we saw Lucario go into his Mega Evolution. The developers were saying how they are going to implement things like Mega Evolutions into the game, but they want the game to have plenty of Pokemon-style features. They're also going to be adding a lot of other stuff that would fit in well with this game's characteristics, so kind of like Pokemon-feeling stuff with Tekken-feeling stuff. And they did say that there's going to be more Mega Evolutions implemented throughout the game. And I'd probably say that Mega Evolution's going to be the result of using things like meter, especially considering this is going to be, from what we understand, a Tekken-style fighting game. This isn't like Pokemon-style where you have to select things from a menu and they attack, and it's about like responding with attacks. I think we're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff statistically, like this does good against this element does good against that element. We're probably going to see a lot of that kind of stuff to kind of appeal more towards the audience that likes Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure you're going to get classes and ways to play the game that kind of take that out to make it into a more fundamentally balanced fighting game, kind of like you have for glory and for fun, like they're doing in Smash Brothers. It's going to be something very similar to that, I'd imagine. But the fact that Mega Evolutions are taking place means that you're going to have characters transform and they're going to get different movesets, and transformation supers and the use of meter is probably going to be something very big in this game, and the Mega Evolution confirmation is just pretty much confirming that. They also did go into more details that there are a bunch of Pokemon that do Mega Evolve, but there's also others that don't, so you might be wondering what's going to happen to those that don't. But they've already thought of plenty of things like that since the early planning stage in order to make it more of a Pokemon-style game, kind of hinting back to the theming that this is going to be more of a casual-friendly type of thing, but like I said, I'm pretty sure we're going to see things that'll balance everything along the way. The other issue that's been popping up, and a big thing of discussion, is the characters, the roster. There's like over 700 freaking Pokemon now. And a lot of this is like, you're not going to fit in all those characters. It's a fighting game, and there's going to be a lot of distinct nuances between all these cast members, no matter who makes it into the game. So they did confirm that it's going to be a bit more limited than that. But they did say that the general direction with current fighting games and how they're trending is to have more characters. And it's absolutely true. A lot of characters that have been out in fighting games, and the way fighting games debut now, there's just a boatload of characters, minus some situations of games that didn't have huge development cycles. And they are saying that there's going to be characters that are easier to grasp at early levels and more complex characters, so this is sounding totally fighting game-ish. I've been kind of curious, like, the balance between the Pokemon and the fighting game, and this is more confirming that they're trying to, it looks like they're really trying to find a medium ground between both. The other issue in relation to characters is that since it's a Pokemon/Tekken-like type of game, which universe is this going to be taking place in? Are we going to see Heihachi, like Jin Kazama? Is any of the Mishima family going to make an appearance in this game? And they pretty much said, no, that at this time, it's a battle that takes place completely in the world of Pokemon. They are not thinking about having Tekken characters appear in any way at all. But once you play it, there's going to be some hidden elements that could bring a smile to the fans of the Tekken series, and that was all quoted. These are directly from the producers and the guys making the game. And there's been some pretty interesting stuff that's popped up over the internet that has already made direct relations between the style of Pokemon characters, and especially Pokemon like fighting style characters, that already resembling characters in the Tekken series. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen. You're going to have characters that feel a lot like, Paul does, or even Jin, or any other character, and their specific fighting style. Instead, they're going to be a Pokemon now. They'll have slightly different moves, they'll feel a little bit different, but you might all of a sudden just be like, hey, this guy totally feels like this character, which is probably what they're directly hinting at. The other interesting thing is that they did note that the game is only about 30% complete. They're currently taking their time working on a new system, and they're trying to do everything they can to bring the game to its full potential, but they are saying that the game's first demo is going to be sometime in 2015, and they're going to take the rest of the year to thoroughly work on the game. And I think the earliest release date we're going to see for this game is probably fall, maybe in arcades, and then potentially a Japanese console release in later 2015. So it's going to be at least a year until we see anything about Pokken actually becoming real. I'd say E3 next year is the best bet. The latest bet is Tokyo Game Show 2015, which is about to come up for us in a couple of weeks, but there's going to be nothing for Pokken there. This game is way too early in development, and they have way too many other projects on their hands. Outside of the Pokken game, they announced this crazy virtual reality thing they're doing for, the PlayStation, VR goggles, which looks really freaking weird, and kind of don't understand why these guys are working on it. They're also working on the Smash Brothers game. If that game has DLC, they're going to be doing that as well. They're working on Tekken 7, and they barely even had an idea when that thing was announced what the system mechanics were going to be in that game. And they're working on Pokken as well, and that doesn't even include any other hidden projects. So there's a lot that this Namco team is working on, especially Harada and all these developers. So it's kind of crazy. They have a lot of projects. There's a lot of stuff that I'm personally excited about, and it's most likely going to be a while from now till we get any new details on Pokken. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much everything we know about the game, and I'm anticipating we're not going to hear anything else until quite a bit. If there's something at Tokyo Game Show in a couple of weeks, I'll be shocked if there is. I'll be very happy if there is. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to see that gameplay demo, anything playable, until probably E3 next year during the Nintendo conference. But that's just my guess. That's kind of how things have gone in the past. What do you guys think about this new details about Pokken? Like I said, anything new, I'll be back here as soon as possible with any news and information about this Pokemon/Tekken hybrid fighting game. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you guys next time.